What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another video. Today I'm joined by a goalkeeper who's made 494 career appearances, including 364 in the Premier League. Some of you might know him now as the Cycling GK. I'm joined by Ben Foster. How you doing?
I'm good, mate. Thank you for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Glad to have you on. We're going to do a bit of fantasy chat, a bit of an FPL stuff, some football stuff. Obviously, just been promoted back to the Premier League. It's only a couple of days now till it starts. That must feel pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's sweet, mate. It's so good. Championship last year, honestly, I've got to say it was so tough. It was so, it's just relentless. You know, you've just got games Saturday, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday. It's just non-stop. You don't ever get a chance to actually really do any training. You're just constantly getting prepared for another game. And it's such a varied league as well. You face against so many different types of opponents. So now it's nice, mate. I must admit, I do enjoy being back in the big time in the big leagues where, you know, it's just Saturday. It's beautiful, mate. It's beautiful.
How's pre-season gone? I know you messaged me like when we first tried to set this up saying you're doing double sessions. That must have been a killer. That's all stopped now, yeah?
It's all stopped, mate. This week it all stops and it's all just kind of like, right, we've all got the fitness now. Everybody's sharp, everybody's strong, everybody's good to go. So this week it was just sort of get ready for the Aston Villa game. And it's nice, mate. It's nice. Like I say, pre-season's tough. It is. It's tough. It's relentless. That's all it is. And you're constantly tired and constantly achy. But yeah, done, mate. Done. Glad to see the back of it.
Good stuff. We'll definitely talk about some Watford players in a minute. I had a look. There's currently, just before we started recording, 4,948,933 FPL managers. You are in 27.6 now. I think it was like 25% when you recorded yesterday, which is over 1.3 million managers have got you in their team. How does that feel?
Do you know what? Regardless of the fact whether I'm cannon fodder goalkeeper at £4 million, I do not care, mate. It feels lovely to know that I'm in a quarter of everybody's teams.
Yeah, it's amazing. The thing is, in FPL, people love the cheap keepers. That's what we want. You want the 4.5, the 4 millions. No one goes for the Edison and Allisons and stuff like that in fantasy. So it's good. You're happy with your price, or do you wish you were a bit more?
No, mate, I'm buzzing with £4 million. I'm over the moon with that. You know what I mean? If I do manage to play any at all this season, then you need those kind of players. You know, you look back for the last few years. You know the likes of like Tarek Mitchell and Wan-Bissaka at Palace a year before. You always need to find that little beauty. Ward for Crystal Palace. Players like that who are £4 million or £4.5 million, and they just turn out to be world beaters.
Yeah, John Lundstrom as well. A couple of seasons ago, he was crazy. Did you play that season?
Mate, I've played every season since the game started.
And do you always have yourself in your team?
I have, to be honest with you, mate. I have. I've always been a cheap goalie though, so I've always been 4.5 mil. So I'll usually go for a decent-ish goalie, a £5 million or something like that. And then I'll have myself as backup, and then I'll kind of just rotate it depending, obviously, what games we've got on that.
Obviously, I see you got the team in the background. You did your video yesterday. Like, what is the obsession level like? How often are you checking it? Because when I've watched your videos last season, when the football was on, pretty much every single video you were checking your team and making sure it was locked in.
I'll let you into a secret, right? That the team that I put out last night is not my only team. I do have multiple teams. I've got multiple email addresses and I've got multiple teams. And don't let
FPL know that. It's in the rules. Mate, one team. Don't let them know that.
I've got 3 teams, mate. I've got one team is mine, another one I do for my mate, and then I've got another one where me and my son will go head to head with each other. So I'll use it for that one as well. But yeah, I buzz off it, mate. I absolutely love, because there's so many weeks where I'll make some subs or I'll have a team out for it, and I'll think, everybody's doing this, surely. Everybody's doing the same substitutions. So then on the other teams, I think, no, I'll mix it up and I can do the other substitutions on there. So it feeds that little sort of like craving of making sure I've done everything I could have possibly done.
Absolutely. What's the competitiveness like in the club? Like, do a lot of players play it, like in Watford, or just in general in the Premier League? Obviously, I'm sure you know a lot of players outside of Watford as well. Is it competitive?
I can only speak for Watford, but it's competitive, mate. It is. We do it every year. We'll have a league set up. Everybody puts a tenner in or something like that. And it's just so good to, you know what I mean? We'll probably have, I'd say we'd have 10 odd players. There'll be 10 players that'll be involved in it. And then you've got all the other staff members, the physios, masseurs, everybody else from around the club. So it's a mini league of about probably 25 odd people. And it's literally the Monday or the Tuesday. it's the talking point of the training ground where everybody comes in. Oh my God, you've had a worldie this week. What are you doing putting him as captain? Like Will Hughes, like last year, Will Hughes was putting some ridiculous captains and he was getting away with it as well. Like I kept saying to him, mate, you're a bad manager. You are. You're just getting lucky. You're gonna get found out soon enough.
Variance, they call that in the community. Do you find do you ever get up to a point where it's talked about, like, I don't know, in the dressing room, like when you're at a game, like if you just see, not maybe from the match you're in, I guess, but from a different match, if someone you've got that's playing at the same time, does it ever get talked about then? Is it always Monday morning thing?
No. On the way to game. So obviously there's normally an early kickoff, isn't there? There's normally a 12:30 or 1 o'clock kickoff or something like that. So when we're on the way to the stadium, on the coach, the lads will have the football on. They'll have the either on the tellies behind us or on their phones. And straight away, it's normally a big game. If it's a 12:30 kickoff, it's normally a big game, a decent team at least. So a lot of people will be like, I've got him in my team score. Is it him? I've got him in my team, buzzing. It's like a great start today. It's like, like a lot of people do like accumulators, football accumulators. Yeah. If that first result comes in, it's like sets their day up for a good day. They're buzzing off it.
Yeah, there's when we talk to like people on Twitter that are in like the FPL community, there's a lot of people that like sometimes just won't captain a player on the opening day just in case it goes wrong, because that's like weekend just absolutely ruined from the off go.
Yeah, so it's the same thing. You don't want to get off to a bad start, do you? You want to know that. Like for me, I just love a Saturday 3 p.m. kickoff. I love knowing that my captain's on there. I love like even getting in at full time, looking at the results, and then straight away I'm looking at the who's played, who scored, who got the assists, like who got man of the match in the thing, because they're likely to get bonus points, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. One thing actually I was thinking about. Obviously, you're saying there's a lot of people that play at the club. Is there any like enforced rules by the club, or like obviously by yourself? Like you're not allowed to have players from your team or from the team you're playing against. Is there anything that's enforced?
No, there's nothing enforced, but it's kind of like a bit of an unwritten rule, really, where you're not like, it's okay to have players from the other team or from our team. That's not a problem whatsoever, but you can't go captaining or triple captaining or something. You can't do that. No chance. And that's about the only thing, to be honest with you, because it's inevitable. If you're going to have players from other teams and you're going to have them in your teams at some point, but you know what I mean? It is what it is. As long as you don't go over the top and do something stupid like, captain or triple captain. That's outrageous. So imagine doing that, triple captain and woof.
So you won't be triple captaining Danny Ings this week, no?
No chance, mate. I'm going to have to leave him out because I fully believe we're going to go beat him. So I don't think he's going to get a sniff at all. So him and Buendia, they are out the team this week on the bench.
Did you see all the stuff? You probably didn't, but there was a Twitter account created by someone in the FPL community, and it got teams from within inside clubs. So it wasn't necessarily players' teams, but there was like kitmen and people working in the canteen. And it found out when they were taking players out. Did you see that?
Mate, I think you think I'm not like a proper player or something, mate.
I'm just wondering.
Honestly, I see absolutely everything, and I saw it all last year. It was Villa last year. There was one big thing with Villa. It kicked off a bit, didn't it? And
yes,
he was saying, was it Dean Smith was saying that he's going to have to cancel the FPL in Villa this season or something because somebody took Jack Grealish out of the team, and that gave it away that he was injured. And it kind of makes sense, to be honest with you. Do you know what I mean? If somebody, especially someone like Jack Grealish, if you take him out of your team and you play for Villa, then odds are that he's not going to be playing that game. So you have to be a little bit careful about it as well. So, I was going to say, I've given away my team name now already, haven't I? So I'm buggered. Like, I can't do anything dodgy like that this season. I'm going to have to be very careful.
Yeah, well, you've got other teams as well, so you could just maybe use them instead. But yeah, I think that was the problem, because obviously you find out after the deadline, so it doesn't matter for transfers, but obviously the club they're playing against know he's not playing. So, yeah, that got shut down. I think it's still going, but not quite as active. Do you find that... obviously ahead of this season and probably in past seasons, do people come up to you and tell you about their score if you've been in their team or anything like that?
Mate, Twitter after a 3 o'clock kickoff match is the amount of times I've had, thanks for letting that last minute goal in, ruined my game week. I had 7 points on you and then I've got nothing like that. Or if you do keep a clean sheet or you do well or something like that, buzzing, mate, thanks for the 10 points, thanks for the 7 points, thanks for the penalty save, something like that. It is a wash with it, mate. Twitter, I'd honestly say that Twitter after a game is about 50-50 of love-hate from fans, just about your general performance, and 50% of it is FPL related, for sure.
I'll tell you a story now. I think it was the 2019-20 season. When like obviously COVID stopped football and then it came back at the end of the season for like the last 7 or 8 games. I think a lot of I put you in my team basically. A lot of people went for Nick Pope, and Nick Pope was getting loads of saves. And you were playing Man City, right? So I stupidly benched you. and I played Alex McCarthy for Southampton, and I had De Bruyne in my team, and there was a penalty given, and I thought, well, De Bruyne's going to step up now. I got to be honest, I didn't want it saved, and he gave it to Sterling, and then you saved it. You saved
and
it.
he put the rebound in as well. It kills you, doesn't it? Like that as a manager, if your penalty taker misses the penalty but puts a rebound in, it still leaves a bad taste in your mouth, doesn't it? It leaves a really bad. It basically cancels out the goal. But yeah, I do. I remember that one fondly, mate. I remember it because at that point we needed to win that game as well. And it's Man City, mate. Man City are some team. They always have been. Like I don't think I've ever beat them. They are just a joke, honestly.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, I mean, just quick going on to the league this season. Can you see anyone toppling them this season?
No, I can't. I've got a video coming out tonight, actually, a Premier League predictions video. And the top team, I had to go for Man City. I had to. I think it's going to be a lot more competitive this year for sure, especially with Chelsea buying Lukaku. But no, Man City, they're a class apart, mate. If they end up getting Harry Kane as well, he is for sure. Like straight away, I'm going to have to use my wildcard chip and get him in there or something because Harry Kane could score. He could break records if he plays for Man City.
What's the earliest you'd use the wild card? Like let's say he's available game week 2. They're playing Norwich. You think he might start? You pop in the wild card?
Yeah, mate. Yeah.
I mean, he's that good, isn't he?
Yeah. And plus, I've done it before. I've done it before for sure. I know for a fact I've done it before. Week 2, wild card already used, and then afterwards you feel all dirty and like, what have you done? You've done it again. You've gone and just lost your rag. And I promised myself I need to be calmer this year and a bit more patient and wait. But you've got to have him in your team. You have to.
Yeah, and as we just discussed, Man City aren't that good at penalties either, but he is. So, like, if he went in, absolutely ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
We'll take a look at your team in just a sec. I want to ask you a quick question about players, obviously, that have come up from the Championship, either that you've played with or against. So, I think the 3 players that are kind of getting talked about a lot, it's almost one from each team, is Ismail Sarr, Watford, Buendia, and Tony. Do you think they're all options for our teams this year?
For sure. I've got 2 of them in my team. Even Tony, we played against him obviously twice last year, and he scored 2 penalties past us, 1 in each game. And he's got everything. He has got absolutely everything. I think this year is his big year to shine and show teams what he's about. He's got the potential to go on to bigger and better things for sure. For me, he's like almost a complete player. He's big, he's strong, he's agile, he's willing to get in the box. End of last season, he was holding some of our big centre backs off the ball. So for me, he's going to do well this year. Even Tony, I think Brentford will do well as well. Actually, Norwich, obviously, Buendia now moved to Aston Villa. Buendia, he's a lovely player, mate. Honestly, he's an absolutely lovely player. Last year, again, played against him, and he's just effortless. He's one of these players who glides on the ball. He's got skill to burn, and you know for a fact he's going to get assists. He's going to score goals, and he's going to get assists in that talented Villa side. And then lastly, Ismail Sarr. Obviously, I get to see him day in, day out, and the guy he's a joke, mate. Honestly, he's a joke. Again, destined for bigger, better things because he is. For me, he's shown, especially last season, because I think last year, if you get relegated into the Championship, it's very easy for the big players to almost sort of be like, oh, I should be playing in the Premier League, I should be doing that, and not put the work rate in. Every game, mate, he put the work rate in. He was on it every single day of the week, putting it in, working, getting up and down the line, defending. Then when he had the ball, attacking, setting up goals, scoring. He'll do well this year for sure.
Yeah, I think it was nice to see with him as well because when the relegation happened, I think a lot of people thought that he was going to leave or that someone was going to come in with him. So to get straight back up and now hopefully tear the Premier League up. Yeah, I mean, FPL 6 million. I mean, a lot of people are looking at. I was talking to Chris Sutton yesterday. A lot of people are looking at Ben Rama at West Ham. But yeah, I've got Sarr in my team right now. So yeah, I'm sure we'll ask a few more questions about what. I mean, any other players? While we're on the conversation of Watford, any other Watford players we should be looking at?
I think centre backs might be a shout. Sierralta, he's very good in both boxes. I think we'll keep a few clean sheets this year, but I think he'll score you goals as well. He reminds me a little bit of Craig Dawson. Craig Dawson's always been a player I've always had in my fantasy Premier League teams, just because the guy scores goals in the other end as well. You know, when we're taking corners, he's like a bulldozer, mate. He'll just run through people. Yeah, he did it last year, and I love that. I love a defender who I know is just going to kick it and head it, and that's Sierralta for me all day long.
Happy days. All right, I think we'll take a look at your team. I'll give you some feedback, and then you can let me know what you disagree or agree with, and then we'll do a few quickfire questions that people sent over. I'm going to ask you to guess what you think the two main asked ones were as well. Okay, let's bring the team up. So I've actually got it up on the Premier League page. So you've got Ings and Buendia, but you've benched them, right? That's the unwritten rule. You can't have them playing against yourself. The thing with those two, I would say they're opening 3 fixtures pretty good. But if you're not going to play them against yourself, I wonder if you could get rid of them. What about someone like Mikel Antonio?
I love Mikel Antonio. I do. I love him. I've always had him in my teams as well, and he's always scored me goals and he's always got me points. I just love Danny Ings. I do. I love Danny. I know what you're saying about the fact he can't play. They won't play against me in the first week. But I just love Danny Ings. I think he for me, he's one of the signings of the summer. How Villa have managed to get it over the line without anybody hearing about it as well. Do you know what I mean? It was mad. It's almost like the way they do business, Villa, is incredible. They just get it done. You don't hear any whispers or rumours. They just get it done. And Danny Ings is worth his weight in gold. He will always work tirelessly, but he's got quality as well, and he's determined, and he just wants to win. I totally understand what you're saying now. For me, Mick, do you know what? Can I change my team?
You can, yeah, definitely. Well, you want to change it right now?
Mate, I've changed the other 2 teams that I've got. I've changed them about 10 times this last week. I've changed them in the last like week loads of times. So I'll have another think about it whether I'll change it again before the big kickoff tomorrow night or not.
All right, I'll just for anyone that's watching, maybe that's picked similar players, maybe they've watched your video, all right? I'll say 3 other players that I would rethink. I mean, you probably already have, to be fair, because if you're like me, you put out a video, then you're playing around with it already before the video is already out. Iheanacho, don't think he's going to start very often.
Don't you?
In the Community Shield, they only played City. They played, I think it was like a 4-2-3-1. So they had Barnes. Vardy played up front on his own, basically. So I think he will get minutes, Iheanacho, but I don't think it's going to be regularly enough to be in the team. That's your Mikel Antonio.
I agree with you. You just mentioned Harvey Barnes there as well. Like, he was one that was very close. I love Harvey Barnes. Last year, I think he was 5 mil last year as well. But he's a lovely player, and he will. Like, every time we played against him, he's just a handful. He's a nightmare to play against. He's so quick, and he loves getting in the box trying to score goals as well. I'll definitely rethink Iheanacho, without doubt. Because I think, what is he, 8 million, Iheanacho?
He's 7.5. So he's a straight swap to Antonio for you. There you go. There's one.
I think, who have West Ham got in the first match?
Newcastle, I think. Newcastle away. So it's not a bad shout. The other one is a Newcastle player, Mankilo, right? 4 million. The guy you got to put in there has to be Tsimikas, because you haven't got 3 Liverpool players, so you've got a spot. Robertson's injured at the moment. If you've got his number, you could even find out how long for, probably. And then
I had a lot of people in the comments last night, actually, on my video saying about Tsimikas for that exact reason. This is the beauty of your channel, right? This year, okay, I've promised myself I'm going to take it seriously. So your channel for me this year is a must watch, all right? I have to watch it because these little nuggets of information, it's gold. It's absolute gold, but you need to know them because they're the difference, aren't they? Making a little switch like that. He's playing a Liverpool team against whoever it is. You'd fancy them to keep a clean sheet.
Exactly. And he's not going to be in there for very long unless Robertson happens to be out for a little while. But he's definitely going to play probably more than Mankilo. So that's a good one. The other one I would say is Dallas. Was brilliant last year. 4.5 million he was. But he was listed as a defender. Now he's a midfielder. He's in the game. So I just wonder if he can maybe... Because the thing is, in the FPL site, he's got loads of points. But that's because last year, he got loads of clean sheets. Yeah. So he's 5.5 million. So there's a few options at that price. Or if you could find an extra 0.5, you got your man Sarr, maybe. Ben Rama, someone like that. They're the 3 main ones, I would say. Mankilo, Iheanacho, and Dallas. I think the rest... Look, there's obviously everyone's got a different opinion, but they're the 3
Grealish,
for me.
are you happy with Grealish? Talk to me about Grealish, because I'm 50-50 with Grealish, because we know Pep loves his Pep roulette, and it does boggle my head a little bit. I've got John Stones in there because I think obviously signing a new contract, he's going to start, and he played the majority of last season as well. But Jack Grealish, I just think signing for a new team, I'm not fully sure if he's going to play absolutely every minute. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a bit torn on that one. Like with Stones, I think there's a chance he doesn't play the first week, but I think after that, you're golden. I don't think he's going to be a problem. I don't know. I think if Grealish goes to any other team, I think he's straight in. But Man City just have such a certain way of playing, and Pep is just so, you've got to play my way. I think, but the thing is, they haven't got many players. Like Foden's injured, Sterling's not played, I don't think, in pre-season. De Bruyne is injured, so I think there's a chance he gets a start. But I don't think you're going to see many 90 minutes at the start. Mahrez is the one.
Though? Yeah, Mahrez. Yeah, true. I think they're about a similar price, aren't they? Maybe $500,000 more, Mahrez or something. But I think the thing is, though, even if he doesn't start, you know that with Man City, even if he gets half an hour, in that half an hour, he can score a goal or two and get an assist or two. Like, that's how mad Man City are. Like Liverpool, I remember Liverpool last year. Remember when they played Crystal Palace? It was they won 7-0 away.
That was ridiculous.
But I was fuming because Salah didn't start. He's my captain. Honestly, I'm absolutely fuming.
Yeah, we all were. Yeah.
Getting at full time, he scored a frigging hat trick or whatever it was, a couple of assists and all that kind of stuff. And everything's rosy again. So these big teams, I think, even if they do get half an hour, they can still punish you.
Yeah. Anyone else you're unsure of?
No, mate, I'm happy with it. Honestly, I don't fully expect Ben White to get massive points. He's not somebody who's going to score goals. Arsenal, whether they keep many clean sheets or not remains to be seen. I think Luke Shaw's a solid left back. Luca Digne, he's always going to score points. I'm looking for. I think Salah and Fernandes speak for themselves. You know what they're going to get.
Yeah,
I think I've gone for Salah as captain in the first game week as well, away at Norwich. I don't know if that's the most popular one, but I'm pretty sure it'll be up there anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Salah will be the most captain for sure. Let me just have a quick look at him. So he's playing Watford in game week 8. Definitely not captain in Salah.
God, no chance, mate. You imagine
never live it down. Never live it down.
Never live it down. I'll have to leave him in the team because it's Mo Salah. You know what I mean? It is what it is. But no, I definitely won't be captain in that game. No chance. Anyway, the last time we played Liverpool, we had a good result. Anyway, beaten 3-0 at Vicarage Road. So hopefully we can do something like that similar again.
That would be good. All right, we'll leave the team. Let's just finish off with the quick fire questions. Can you guess what the top 2 questions were?
I guarantee one of them will be, are you going to start this season?
Yes.
Yeah.
If you can't answer or you don't want to answer, that is fine.
I don't know. Honestly, I'm happy to answer it. I haven't got a clue. Normally what happens is when with the goalkeepers, whoever plays in the last pre-season friendly of the season will start the first game, and Dan Batman played the last game of pre-season. And not even that, couple it with the fact that last season, he was absolutely brilliant. Honestly, he was on fire for us. Like when he came into the team, the results really did change around. So fair dues to him. So I can honestly say I have not got a clue. He hasn't, in all honesty, he hasn't done any kind of starting 11 or anything yet. So nobody has a clue what's going to go on.
All right, good stuff. We'll wait and see what happens there. What do you think the second one was? It's not really FPL related.
It will be, is he allowed to put his camera in the goal this year?
They were the top 2. Like there was a lot of questions, but by far those 2 were asked the most.
Again, I honestly do not know. You've got to remember the Premier League is one of the biggest companies in this country. It is absolutely massive. You're talking BT Sports, Sky Sports, Amazon pay an absolutely outrageous amount of money to have this footage. So I can't expect to be able to just stick my little GoPro in the goal and then whip it up on YouTube and everything just be nice and rosy. So we're just going to have to wait and see. I have had a bit of a conversation with them to sort of sound it out and just see what is going to be possible. And we'll just go from there, really. But I can still do all the other stuff, all the behind the scenes stuff when we're traveling to away games, what the stadiums looks like, see if I can grab a couple players after the game and have a little bit of a chit chat, something like that. So it'll always be a good watch either way.
Yeah, and I think that stuff really goes down really well. Like, you must be one of the only channels where I watch it, and so does my son. Like, usually he just watches like Fortnite and stuff like that, and I just don't watch it. I'm not into that. But he watches you. Like the other day, I think you always have tomato sauce, don't you? He was like, you're eating some chicken. He said, when I'm a footballer, will I have to eat the veg as well? And I said, yeah, of course you will. Expecting him to say, oh, I won't be a footballer. He went, all right, I'll have broccoli, carrots, and peas. So it's very educational as well as entertaining.
I think the good thing is as well, though, is because I've got kids myself, and I only want to feel comfortable knowing that kids could watch it and it's safe for them to watch. Do you know what I mean? And I think obviously we bleep any swearing because there's going to be swearing. It's an adult workplace. It's competitive and there's emotion and all that kind of stuff. But I always want to make sure that it's going to be safe for kids to watch as well. So anybody can watch it from any sort of age range. And it's always a good watch. And you always watch it and come off feeling sort of semi-happy or optimistic at least.
Yeah, for sure. Like he was so excited to know you were coming on. He actually went out into the street and traded a card and got a Ben Foster card. So yeah,
what's his name?
Tom.
Tom, you're an absolute legend, mate. Thank you for watching Cycling GK. Make sure you're watching next season as well, because we're going to have some belting videos coming out, mate.
All right, good stuff. All right, let's get into the actual quickfire questions, because they went a bit, they weren't too quickfire. These ones are. There's some weird ones. It's fantasy football, right? Who's first choice penalty taker for Watford? If you can't answer, you don't know, it's fine.
It's got to be Troy Deeney.
Yeah, that's what I assumed. Yeah, everyone's like,
if I've got to pick anybody, probably in the will to take a penalty, I'm picking Troy Deeney.
All right, here's another one then. You said, obviously, you don't know who's going to be first choice. Everyone's got you in their team anyway. Other goalkeepers, should it be Backman or Sanchez?
I think just for the first few games that are going on is Sanchez. I do like the run. I do like the start of the season that Brighton have got. Hence the reason why I played Sanchez. Actually, saying that, do you know what I mean? If I did put Dan in, one of us is going to play either way. Do you know what I mean? So I'd say it's 50-50, to be honest with you, out of them two.
What was your best ever FPL finish?
Gosh, I don't know what my best ever finish was, but I know my best weekly finish, I was in the top 1,000 one week. It was like 900 and something like that, which I'll forever cling on to as like my crowning fancy Premier League like record. Happy days.
Have you ever captained yourself?
I don't think I have. I honestly don't think I'd never captain a goalkeeper. Ever, ever, ever.
That is a good rule, to be fair. This one goes on to cycling, right? So how many cycling events have you taken part in? And is the Tour de France on the cards after football?
Yeah, I've taken part in loads of cycling events. No, the Tour de France will not be on the cards because it is just too hard. Honestly, it's too hard. For somebody like me who's 3 kilo, trying to get up with all those mountains day after day after day will just take too much of a toll out on my body. But no, there's plenty of other things I can do. But I think sort of 20, 22, 23 days of continuous up and down mountains would just kill me.
Yeah, absolute madness. One of the questions was about top 4 and relegation predictions. You can go and watch the video on his channel later today. Last 4 questions. Who's the best keeper in the world right now?
Donnarumma. Absolutely Donnarumma. The guy is an absolute joke.
Who is the best defender you've ever played with?
Played with? That's a very good question. That's a very good question. The best defender I've ever played with. And I've played with some good ones. I've played with England, with Rio Ferdinand, John Terry, West Brom. Because I was at West Brom for 7 years, I had Gareth McCauley. I love playing with that guy. He was the most underrated centre-back ever. The Nemanja Vidic at Man United. Jeez, I've got to pick one of these out of all of them. Blimey heck. I'll go for Nemanja Vidic just because I knew what he was going to do. He's my type of defender. He will head it, he'll kick it, and he will put his head on the end of absolutely anything.
Yeah, can't argue with that. The best goal you've ever conceded? Which is a bit of a weird question. Do you remember goals you've conceded?
It's good. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember them all. The best goal I have ever conceded, I think, was away at Liverpool, and it was Xabi Alonso. He got it out of his feet about 30 yards out, and I thought, oh, you're going to shoot here. And when it's coming to me, I'm thinking, oh no, he scored. Because you just know, as a goalie, you know if it's going in or not. You even know if it's going to hit the post. And I remember moving for it and diving as much as I could. And even when I was about to take off, I thought, you're only doing this so you don't look a dickhead on Match of the Day later on. But I flung myself as hard as I possibly could. But I just had to watch it all the way into the top corner. It's beautiful. It was technique was just absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, you've got to dive. Otherwise, they say you've just left it, right? So you got to do that for the cameras. Yeah.
Exactly.
Last one, best striker you've ever faced.
Oh, I always say Didier Drogba. The guy was a joke. In the couple games I played against, I played him more than that, but one game in particular stands out, and he was I think he scored a hat-trick past me that day, and he was manhandling our centre-backs. He was holding them off. He was dictating where he wanted it, what he wanted to do with it, and when he got in front of goal, he just calm as he finished it into bottom corners. He was incredible. He was unplayable. I think he went through a pomp of a couple of years when Chelsea were in their pomp, and he was incredible.
Yeah, he was brilliant. Ben, thank you very much for coming to join me. That was an absolute pleasure. Really, I would just say I'm really pleased you came on, but I know people in the FPL community will be really happy to see you come and chat and obviously be so into FPL as well. So thank you very much.
No, mate, it's my pleasure. The pleasure is all mine, and I cannot wait to watch the videos this year because I need to keep up to date with all the little ins and outs that I should be making, because I think that's the difference. The thing I've never done is plan ahead too much. I literally take it on a week by week basis. Whereas I know the key to it is trying to do it 2, 3, 4 weeks in advance. Do you know what I mean? Trying to plan ahead for the teams that are going to play whoever. And I think that's the bit that I need to be watching this season and make sure I'm on top of.
Well, you make sure you subscribe. Everyone else that's watching, make sure you subscribe as well. We're very close to 200,000 subscribers now. That's the aim for this season, hit that 200k mark. I will let you go. Again, thank you very much for watching. If you did enjoy it, give it a like, and hopefully we'll get Ben on again soon. And obviously, good luck to Watford this season. Cheers.
Top man. Thanks, mate.